Pranams to all. Welcome to today's session. People are still joining. Tomorrow's webinar is interesting if you see. It can give us that boost, it can give us that complete transformation because that's how it is focused on. So, we have been spending this time, these few days, settling down and simmering and trying to understand, first of all, what spirituality is because spirituality has been blown out of proportion. What you see out there is still hovering outside, it's not completely gone in. Somehow I do not find it can break the illusions of falseness in our life. All this so called spirituality. Somehow it keeps the false alive. Somehow you check it out and see. And that is where the whole catch lies. That is where the threshold is. See, awakening, this process which is there in spirituality, it begins very pleasantly. But I've seen most of the seekers, they don't go beyond the awakening process. There is an illuminating and enlightening process after that. But most of them cannot go because the deep understanding is still not clear about what the objective of this spiritual practices and so-called this journey is all about. So we are attempting to actually find this out, to know what it is really, because then you will have a clear objective and then you can pursue it properly. Like for example, I'm talking about these whole concepts of gods and things like that. See, till now we have been in religion, we have been even in spirituality pursuing these goals of God realization. But you can very clearly see this demarcating difference where we now understand that these are all simply concepts and all the gods that we have been following or trying to attain, they exist only in the mind as some concept. Here it becomes crystal clear. So, what I mean by awakening and illumination process, awakening is this process where you awaken and you start questioning your existence. Why am I alive here? What is the purpose of my being here? Because everything looks like so meaningless. So, I just have to find out what gives meaning to this, what adds a purpose to my life. That is awakening, that anybody can have that. And then suddenly there is an inclination to know God or to know myself or know to want to know about this whole universe or life and life after death and things like that. That's called the awakening process. So in the awakening process there are many glimpses we get. We get a little bit of more clarity about life. But mind you, that awakening process which happens is all still in the mind because the mind is trying to study the spirituality. Mind is trying to study the soul, the self, God. It is full mind work. And that is how it proceeds. You cannot overlook that. Mind is needed. That is the whole purpose of all the scriptures and all that. All the great teachers, prophets who came, all they taught to the minds only. Because when the minds grasp, the mind polishes itself, mind starts purifying, mind starts rising above the pettiness of life. Mind starts rising about above the grossness of life. So when mind is rising, you can call it as consciousness rising. Many interesting things will come now. When the beginning of this spiritual journey, many interesting things, and that is what lures a seeker to know more. Because if these interesting things are not there, spirituality is very boring. Things like life after death, ascension, past life, telepathy, astral travel, dimensions, chakras. psychic powers, clairvoyance, clairaudience, teleportation. It goes on. And then, of course, the siddhis, when the mastery of the mind is achieved, a certain kind of powers that the mind starts revealing, that's very, very lucrative. So, to the ordinary minds in the start, when these things are suddenly come into life, like, you never heard it, nobody hears about these things, and suddenly you start exploring life, and all these things starts happening, or new information starts coming. It's a very interesting journey, and that's why we pursue spirituality. There is an inquisitiveness to know the details of this, because mind is curious. That curiosity only triggers and inspires the soul, the seeker, to investigate further. And so it's a very thrilling journey from there. You can reflect on your own lives when the whole thing began and things started showing up, and then you explored more and more, more and more curiosity. More the curiosity, more the thirst, more the practices, explorations, more the explorations and practices, more the experiences. But there's all these things are happening on the mind level. Mind is stimulated, mind is motivated, and that's how the seeker progresses. But the irony is, if you look very closely, very deeply, a large percentage, you can say 98% straight, of all the awakened ones or the seekers on the journey, they are unable to go beyond it. Very difficult. I can hardly find people in this whole journey of mine, 25 years. I hardly have found people I can count on fingertips who have gone beyond, forget who has gone beyond, who are willing to go beyond. Very difficult. Because the mind is very stimulated and the mind is having these experiences. That is the reason why a seeker is still surviving in spirituality. There is a certain kind of boredom in this mind, and the mind wants to remove the boredom now by investigating into new things and exploring new things. That is why when the mind is bored with one concept, one philosophy, one guru, one path, it jumps to another. It is seeking and seeking and seeking. There is no difference from the worldly vasanas or tendencies than the spiritual tendencies. Tendencies are tendencies, vasanas are vasanas. We only glorify it with two different opposites. We call it a worldly vasana and we call it a spiritual vasana. Usually people don't call it a spiritual vasana because it's an insult to spirituality or the seeker to call it a vasana. They give all kind of glorified names to this vasana. They might say acharan. Acharan, nice, divine behavioral patterns. For me, it is, if I closely look at this, it is just from like Asman se gira khajur mein atka. From fire to frying pan. Not much difference. Another level of awakening has to happen here, and that awakening is till when? What further? Till one questions this, or even the question is, where have I reached after doing all these practices? Okay, I did a scriptural practice. I did Shiva Mahapuran, for example. Or I learned about Durga. I learned about Hanuman. I learned about Rama and Sita. I learned about Shiva and Shakti. I learned about all the gods and goddesses. I learned about Krishna. I learned everything. I learned about the rishis. I learned about the gurus and guru mandalas, ascended masters. A Question should arise in the seeker's mind. Now what? I hardly find that very difficult. Because when one questions now what only, they will understand they have come to a certain point, a threshold, and there is nothing further to do now. So, should I remain doing this? So, if the answer is yes, I should remain. Or if you are told, authority tells you, spiritual authority tells you, keep doing. So, if it is in the believer zone, nobody will ask till when, because he need guts to ask that. So, believers are silent people. They will just follow instructions. Followers of instructions are only followers. Followers simply means they simply obey commands. They don't question. If you don't question, you cannot investigate, you cannot contemplate, you cannot reflect. And this zone, shifting into awareness, is all about questioning, all about investigation, all about reflection and contemplation, inquiry, and not settling till I get a valid experience of whatever I learn. Whatever has been told to me, I don't take it on face value. So if I tell you something, here nobody will take it for on face value. You might take it because of the past tendencies. You might say, oh, okay, this guy is saying something. All the guys I've listened to, they have always said something. And I've always believed. So now I come with that same conditioned mind, programming. So I go to a new place and you sit there programmed and you sit like whatever you say is param, final. I say bullshit. Question what I'm saying. How do you question? Use your intellect. Whatever I'm saying, keep your mind active, keep your intellect active, investigate. How's this guy saying this? In what method is he saying this? What does he mean by this? And if he's saying this, how can this be there? Yesterday he said this, today he's saying this. Today he's talking this from a certain scripture, but another scripture says something else. One path says something, one religion says something. Questions must arise because if question is arising, you're on the right path. You're on the path of contemplation now. You're on the path of inquiry. You are inquiring. What is Atma Vichara? Self inquiry. You inquire about it. So, inquiring is investigation. Self inquiry is not a meditation. Please understand. Huh? Who am I? Is not a meditation. Why people fail, even in Bhagavan Ramana's method, is they are doing it like a meditation, like a technique. It is not a technique, it is a pure investigation. And who is the investigator? Your buddhi, your viveka, your intellect. So, what I'm trying to tell is all the paths can take you to a zone of the mind, but now you have to understand this path and something beyond, the leap beyond. I need to give up my mind and get into investigation, intellect. Without intellect, I cannot reach there. Until this is clear, there is no further journey, and many don't even want to understand this because the mind is very fascinated and the comfort zones are all there. So much of security. Spirituality gives you double security. And I tell you, real authentic spirituality is that which dissolves all your clinging to this security. Because when the clinging to security dissolves, truly your insecurity vanishes. Otherwise, you will see all these clinging to different securities will make you more insecure. I guarantee you this. When you cling on to your guru, when you cling on to the teachings, some philosophy, some prophet, some god, you will surely become insecure because every time you know you lose that clinging, isn't it? Tell me real or no. You know you lose it. You know it is not forever. So when you know it's not forever, the automatic response from inside is trying to sustain it because you don't want to drop. You're always scared now. It might fall, it might fall, it might fall. And that's what we're trying to understand. Then what is the difference between this clinging and that clinging? The worldly vasana says you should not cling to your family. You should not cling to your possession, your name, your title, your fame. That's worldly understanding. Okay, fine. But does anybody tell you in spirituality that you should not cling to your guru? You should not cling to your path. I haven't heard anybody telling you should not cling to the path. In fact, everybody emphasizes you must cling on to the path. You must cling on to everything in the path. The teacher, the teaching. When you know that also will go one day. So isn't that Maya? Because it's crystal clear. The teacher also will go one day. The teaching also will collapse one day. The paths will go. How many of us are going to be forever with the path? The body goes, path goes. These are all external conditions. You can be kicked out of a path. If you don't become a Kattar follower, you can be kicked out. Or you might choose to leave a path. So isn't that temporary? Where is it permanent? What are we understanding all these days about the teaching here? We're understanding what is real, what is authentic. The real and authentic is always existing. That will never come and go. Anything that comes and go is false. Aren't we talking this? When we are talking at that level, when Ramana or Nisardat Maharaja, people like that, at that stature, Avadut Gita, you look at it, they all say that what comes will go and hence is not permanent. And they're referring straight to God, where they're calling even gods as concepts because all these gods in the mind, they come and they go. They appear and disappear. So they are false, they are telling. So at that level, we say it is false. Then how come the paths are real? How come the teachers are real? Are they higher than God? Think about it. So if God can appear and disappear and is a concept, anything below that also is a concept. Simple common sense, right? You don't need sixth sense to understand this. Simple common sense. So if anything appears and disappears is false, does anybody question then why am I clinging to false? Ramana Bhagwan's teaching is don't cling to even the form of God. Then why are we clinging to different kind of other forms? So a seeker remains stuck here. This is where the journey comes and the end. It's not the end. And the seeker sits there and assumes he or she, some can even sit and assume that they have reached. Because some divine experiences, some blissfulness, some samadhi, somebody can sit in hours of samadhi, they will think it's reached there. And samadhi has got hundreds of definitions, hundreds of seekers, hundreds of definitions. The authentic teaching, we don't know where it is. What is real samadhi? Because all are definitions. Last webinar, the self, what we did from Tiruvannamalai, we had spoken about Kevala Samadhi. We had talked about Sahaj Samadhi. Kevala is that which is induced by effort. And you enter into Samadhi. Whatever practice, meditation, whatever you do. You might use a mantra, through a tantra, through a yantra. You might attempt, or even pranayam, whatever. You might attempt and get into that Samadhi, Kevala Samadhi. When that is ripe and mastered, it becomes Sahaja Samadhi, natural, effortless, on its own. In that, there are again Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa Samadhi, two types of Samadhi. One in which the awareness is there, Savikalpa. Though you are blank, you're still aware of things. Nirvikalpa is you're blank, You are aware of only blankness. You cannot register anything else. Two types of samadhi. By effort, also it goes, and as it matures, it becomes sahaja nirvikalpa, and that's the final. You can see all the avaduts and all the masters, great masters like Ramana, Nityananda, always they are in samadhi and they don't meditate. Okay, these people are not meditators. Means no practice is used, no effort is used. They will not invoke, they will not do pranayam, they will not do mantra japa. That is all kevala. By practice, you go into that blankness. But these are so ripe, great souls, without any effort, they slip into that. That is called Sahaj Samadhi, Nirvikalpa or Svikalpa. Sahaja means they're no effort and they're gone. So they can have awareness of the surrounding, but they are still absorbed in the blankness. But they're aware of people, places, things, and things happening. But they can't register, they don't react, but they're aware. Savikalpa. Nirvikalpa is they're not even aware. They can be with their eyes open, but they don't register anything also. It's simply blankness. Now, these are all definitions, but I try to make it a little more deeper, last in the self. And I'm trying to explain it here also with clarity. Now, you read about samadhis, you will get different kinds of definitions. There are even interpretations from the Upanishads which are not very accurate. Most of them are fanciful because this fancy is one great quality what the mind enjoys. It loves to conceptualize things so much. It fails to experience. In the last webinar, we attempted all those. And with practice, you can see, you can stabilize, and you can understand. When things happen to you in a certain way, you can understand and identify what was it? What is it? From that, you can understand where are we heading and what lies beyond this. Where do these processes take us? That is why we are following Arunachala Tattva, where all the secrets are revealed. And the secrets are in such a manner, they are all scattered. You have to have the buddhi and viveka to go and investigate and then sort them out. Because there is no way, no books that talk about a step by step processes. And that's how these tattvas remain hidden. So you must have heard all these words where people talk about secrets are hidden and they are locked and things like that. Nothing is locked and nothing is there that cannot be unlocked. The key is your intellect. A purified and sharp intellect, which can be purified only with Shuddha Bhavana, pure intentions. Any impurity will not open the third eye fully. So that is one zone which you cannot cheat. In spirituality, we cheat, full of cheating. What is cheating? According to me, the definition of cheating is when I'm not honest with myself, that's cheating. Khatam. I'm not authentic, it's cheating. Anything that I do inauthentic is cheating. And that is impure intention. Ashuddha bhavana. It can never help the intellect. It can never awaken the key because that is the key. That is your inner guru, awakened inner guru. The teacher from within guides you. The third eye of Shiva opening is simply that Shiva becomes aware of the unreal, and that is why he burns it. Sat and Asat. You become aware of the unreal only when this opens. Otherwise, you can't. You sit in this world, you'll think everything only is real only here. Even if your mind has read it somewhere, it's not real, you cannot register it, you cannot experience it there until this opens. Only when this opens. Now, when I say this opens, don't think there is an I here and you have to do some process in this and things like that. Whether you do this process or don't do this process, it doesn't matter. And that third eye is not exactly where we are supposed to point it. Just like the soul has no point. You might say the soul center. It's wrong to say soul center. There's nothing called soul center. There's nothing called even heart center, the center of the being. These are all concepts. Those who have experienced this, tell me when you are in samadhi, where can you find your pinpoint center? When you are in deep blankness, who can find out? But the experience is there. You can even experience a central point from where you exist in that blankness, in that deep meditation. But still, you cannot pinpoint it is here or in your legs or wherever. That's how it is. So, similarly, your third eye, till the mind is there, you might feel and conceptualize things and all here. But once you are gone deep, the whole being is a third eye. The whole being is awareness. That awareness is the third eye. So I'm not interested in those concepts where you point your third eye to your forehead and talk about opening it and closing it. And all opening and closing is cunningness, cheating. Why do you have to break the code? Seekers' responsibility is to purify themselves. It will open. All what has to open will open by itself. Even the so-called powers and siddhis and all this. Why people chase powers, siddhis, ashtasiddhis and this and that. Definitely the mind has got powers. Definitely these powers are existing. No doubt about it. But my question is, why do you have to chase it? Because the moment you chase it, you are lusting for that some power. The moment you lust for something which is powerful, it shows greed. It shows the lust for control or manipulation of something. That itself makes it inauthentic. That itself makes it ashuddha, makes it impure. Why would one be interested to have powers which is impure? Because even spiritual common sense tells us that is inviting unwanted consequences. One who is fully aware of the consequences, why would they want to axe their own feet? So there is a big glitter in glamour spirituality. Most are motivated just for this interesting things. A greater chance of remaining stuck and not proceeding further. Very great chance, huge chance. So that is why I say large percentage is stuck. Most don't even know they are stuck because somehow I feel we want each other to remain stuck. If we do not want each other to remain stuck, why are these topics not talked openly? What I'm speaking right now. Why are these things not taught or shared? Why is one not being made awake and conscious about these things, about the journey beyond? Why is there so much motivation given to the pettiness of spiritual benefits? Isn't that pushing people more into Maya, another form of Maya? Whereas spirituality promises to get one out of Maya. That is why I failed in my pursuit with these spiritual philosophies. I didn't get the truth there. I simply quit it. I dropped all these. And I'm okay with dropping because only when I dropped, I found. Really, am. Until one drops, you cannot find. Holding on to is your mind. All what you have been taught, all what you learned in schools or philosophies or spirituality has to be given up, has to be put in fire because that is your blockage. All these learnings only take you and stimulate you to your mind and your mind concepts. It cannot take you beyond. When you move into awareness, when you shift into awareness, you are shifting from the mind to the intellect, buddhi, viveka. And viveka is not interested in any damn concepts, however divine that concept is. I mean it. Today's satsangs, what is that? The bold step. This is a bold step. Without this bold step, you cannot remain in the cocoon of the mind and be illuminated by all these fancies. If you are illuminated by the fancies, you will get fancy items in your mind. Even your gods will be very fancy items in your mind. That's all the mind can do. Play the game. Only those who are ready to drop the game just thrash these things out. That courage comes from grace. That courage comes from authenticity. That comes from your progress and evolution. Because evolution, that pull which is there from within, if it pulls you, it will pull you out of this whole play. That is why I always say keep your focus on the highest. Param Tattva. Nirguna Nirakara. Attributeless, formless. Pure consciousness. Because that is the purest form. Rest all, whatever comes, have certain kind of impurities. Attributes itself means impurity, guna, triguna. Even sattva guna is an impurity, subtle impurity, a divine impurity, sattva guna. Just like we say Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss body that we have, the five bodies. Anandamaya Kosha is supposed to be godlike because it's Anandamaya, blissful. Yesterday we discussed the physical body, the energy body, Pranamaya Kosha, of the etheric body, and then the Manomaya Kosha, the mind body. That's what we are talking. These three zone only we are stuck. Before coming to spirituality, you are only in the two zones, the mind and energy body. That's all. Prana and Annamaya Kosha. That's all. You feed this, you maintain this, you enjoy with these two things only. You are bothered about only these two things, your energy and your body. Eating good foods, going to the gym, nourishing the body and the energies with it. But when you spiritually awaken, your mind starts getting illuminated. Mind brings in new concepts. Mind has the worldly concepts. So in the world, these three are there: mind, energy, and the body. That's how the existence is all about me and mine. That is what is known as the ego. Pure ego, pure ego. Full ego is this mind and body syndrome. Living in the mind and body is known as pure ego, full blown ego, full ignorance it is. It is known as the sleeping state, deep sleeping, unconscious state. It's a robotic or zombie kind of a zone. who has not awakened spiritually, they're literally zombies, instinctive, like animals. That is why these are referred to as pashu vrittis. Pashu vrittis are animalistic tendencies in humans. All they can think about is food, sex, shelter. Pure animalistic tendencies. And those who are not even aware of this is called an animal, human animal. They live for this. They die for this. They can die for shelter. They can die for sex. They can die for food. They can kill for these three, just like an animal does. You look at all the cases, the world will come to know. They can go to any extent for these three. That is known as the animal tendency. To rise above that is to become a human. We might term a person as human being. That's not a human being. A hardcore criminal involved in all these kind of acts is not a human being. He's purely an animal. One who rises above these instincts, or at least becomes, because these instincts are very strong. At least the one who rises and is aware that one has this instinct is a human being. So when an awakening happens, they become aware of these animalistic tendencies, and now their life is different. Though they have it, but their intellect, because now from the mind, it is the intellect has got illumined. So intellect shows them this thing. Intellect is where the awareness is. It shows that these exist in me. I have to purify this because this will keep me lower or will take me lower, even lower. So that is where the struggle of a seeker begins. One becomes aware, and that is where guilt starts coming in there. You feel bad for this. You know these tendencies are there, and then you are struggling. You do everything. Some people fast, some people do meditation, some do yoga, some go into many retreats and things like that. They're trying to purify. Some do mantra japa, some are doing prayers, some are doing rituals. All good, because these people have become aware. Their intellect is illumined, and they're telling now, no, no, no. These animalistic tendencies must go off the drives. So they do a process, and it takes a long time. But they're struggling and falling and struggling and falling. So as the illumination keeps growing due to these practice and purification, the more purification happens, the grace starts activating, and it also assists you. The grace is within. Depending on one factor, Shuddha Bhavana, pure intention. How much pure intention you are using to do any practice is what counts. It doesn't matter what practice you are doing, which level practice you are doing, which tantra you are doing. Whether you're doing a Shakt Tantra or you're doing a Shaivite Tantra, whichever you do, it doesn't matter, or which religion you are doing, it doesn't matter. The whole thing is the intent behind it. How purified the intent is. Based on that, one progresses. It is not, again, I repeat, it is not on these complicated systems and sadhanas and things like that. People have this wrong understanding. The more powerful a sadhana, the more great a sadhana. I'll tell you, the more greater the ego. That's all. When we start swelling up saying, I am a so and so sadhak, I do this sadhana, ego has swelled up there. So your sadhana and what you do, it doesn't matter. Buddha proved it. Mahavir proved it. Ravana proved it. Look at them. Nisargadatta Maharaj proved it. Did Nisargadatta Maharaj stand on one leg and do tapasya? Did he use great yantras? Understand from this. The purified intellect, pure intention, pure devotion, whatever you call it, pure humbleness, meekness. What Jesus says, only the children can enter the kingdom of God. Be like a child, egoless. humble, innocent. Opposite of innocent is cunning. Cunning is an animalistic tending. Cunningness is developed in animals because they have to use their cunningness to survive. It is not the quality of human being. Cunningness, chalak hona. So this animalistic tendencies is the first thing that we realize we have to remove. In the Hindu tradition, beautifully the Vedic terminologies are used. Even the concept of Pashupatinath, Shiva in the form of Pashupatinath. Pashu itself is animalistic. So the god who reigns over animals, he is not the king of animals there. Pashupatinath in Nepal, people go there. Another form, most of them are not even aware what it's about. Pashupatinath is the Lord, the grace, the Shiva concept, the Shiva, the God consciousness within that removes, that helps in removing the Pashu Bhava in us, animalistic tendency. So we hold on to Pashupatinath. That's a special force, it's a special grace where it is a purposeful. You can see all the gods have a purpose, all are purpose. They have certain functions. So Shiva has many different forms, Shakti has many different forms, Kali has a different function. Lakshmi has a different function. Saraswati has a different function. They all have different function. Hanuman has a different function. You see, they don't interlink. They don't overlap. They do their jobs brilliantly. They're fully dedicated to that. The deities and gods and spirits. And so this Pashupatinath is fully dedicated to this, removing the animalistic tendencies. So one who has devotion to Pashupatinath, this is the right bhav. You worship Pashupatinath with this bhava that my animalistic instincts must go, you'll succeed. That's the beauty of all these energy consciousness. I call that energy consciousness. Everything is a certain energy, everything is vibration. Every vibration gives a certain impact. You put a positive song, your moods will uplift itself. You put a depressive song, your moods will go off. What does that sound? There's nothing but nada. It's a vibration. The energy that vibrates in a certain frequency carries that power of that frequency and impacts everything in consciousness, not just you and me, everything it impacts. You can see all those experiments done by the Japanese scientists where they keep a bowl of water and they do a prayer. And the microscopic studies show a different pattern. The atomic patterns that you can see is very different. The structural, the vibrational pattern, if you see, you curse, the whole pattern changes in water. It's a live experiment done. What is that? The impact of vibration. Vibration changes everything. Where vibration is the power, because that's the frequency that's generated, and everything is vibration. So everything is vibrating at different levels. Even you, me, everybody have different level of vibrations. Based on our vibrations, only we call whether we have evolved or down. What is our frequency? These frequency only determine where we are in the spiritual journey. Simple. So the most highest form of purified and divine high frequency are the mantras. The most highest mantra, Bible, what is said as the word of God, that is referred to as the Om, the first ever sound from the nothingness, the first vibration that happened, which that vibration only is the creation. Your Sri Vidya is that only. The first vibration, the first spandan, the whole creation creates itself. That geometry only, you have put it in the form of yantra, that's all. It's a geometry, it forms a geometry. And we are a part of that geometry. Bhupur. We are in a certain dimension, the earthly plane or third dimension, what you call. That is a part of that geometry. So in the third dimension, there is a certain vibration that is maintaining this 3D unit and all the beings in this. So they are all floating in this kind of a vibration and a different kind of dramas in that vibration. Many miniature vibrations go on. That is what creates a drama there in that earth field. You go one step up, it's a different frequency, one rung. So there different dramas are going on. More divine dramas and more divine dramas, diviner. They go on, different lokas. More divine drama go down. These dramas get crosser, what you call as negative. So positive and negative is nothing but a certain frequency. It's a vibration. That's all. Certain way it vibrates, you call it as positive. Certain way it vibrates, you call it negative. Why positive and negative? Because these vibration, it goes, it reflects back. That's all. Any vibration, it goes and it hits and it comes back. Any object, wherever it is, it has to hit each other also. These vibrations, and that is what causes impact. It hits one, then it comes back. That what comes back, you would call it karma. One vibration goes out, it hits and comes back, reflects back in the same kind of frequency. Because what you reflect, what you put out only will come back in the same. That is called as karma. So when the impact is good, it is pleasant, it gives me pleasure. That is referred as good karma. If the impact is painful, I refer that to as papa karma. That is where the sin, merit, and demerit comes. Simple it is. It's simple vibrational. If you see, the universe doesn't understand your language, karma, papa, punya, good, bad, because the universe has not put all these words. We have put it because this vibration, the science which is there, we want to define it. So we gave different terminologies to all these things, and that caused new headaches. Because once this terminology came, then sab apna apna khayali pula. They all started interpreting in their own ways, and you see today what it is. You ask 10 people about karma, 10 different experiences will get, explanations will get. But the basis is this, what I'm talking. That's all. Simple, vibrational. If you see, this is now the one who's catching this vibration and consciousness, who's just going by this basic, they cannot be called as atheist. They believe, they know, they trust in that vibration, they experience vibrations, and they know it's a powerful one. And they know the generator, from where it is generated, the origin. They bow to that. That is where the humbleness comes. Because if bowing is not there, no humbleness will come, no surrender can come. It is ego full blown. But only when one knows there is something higher can one submit to it. There is no question of whether you believe in God or don't believe in God. Here, what is there? There is no talk only here. Because gods are what? That same vibrations, different, you have conceptualized it. One vibration brings peace. One vibration brings abundance. One vibration brings health. One vibration brings destruction, isn't it? Different frequencies. Vibration which brings health, you call it health mantra. Anything that is destruction or destructive, you call it curse. Which is constructive and good, you call it blessings. That which radiates out of you can be a blessing or a curse based on the vibration, not on the vibrations, on the intent. You might give a bad word, but the intent counts. You understanding? The science is in the intent. I'm again telling it is bhavana, your bhav, not what you see outside. It might look ugly, but it can have a different intent. It might look very divine, but it can have a different intent. भाव अलग हो सकता है. That is where the glamour spirituality, what we talk about, because bhav can be very good things, but inside, what is the deep bhava? Outside, the actions might be very good, but what is the hidden source of that bhava? Based on that, the whole system works, not based on what you do. I might be a great charity guy, philanthropist, donating a lot of money and things to the whole world, and everybody knows about it and things like that. But if my intention is to gather popularity, then it's an Ashuddha Bhavana. It's an impure intention. Outside, the acts are very divine, but at the core, it is impure. Karma acts on the core. Karma doesn't act on your actions. Actions have no value there. That is why Nityananda Bhagavan is always talking about Shuddha Bhavana. Based on that Bhavana only, and that Bhavana is a very purified state which can be known only by the Viveka. Mind is cunning. It will even interpret the Bhavana. Because I have never seen anybody telling I have Ashuddha Bhavana. I have not seen any human being telling I have impure intention. Everybody says I have pure intention only. Who will say I have impure intention, even if it is impure? So the sayer is always false. The claimer is always false. The intellect, the awareness knows what it is. So if the awareness knows it is impure and still I brush it away, that is called inauthenticity. No sincerity there, no honesty. I saw it, but I ignored it. That is called inauthentic. I see it, I admit, I acknowledge. That is called authentic. And I am always stressing on be authentic. Day before yesterday, we said, I have darkness. I have flaws in me. I am a sinner. I have negativity in me. Authentic people are, you are aware you have it. You don't deny it on the pretext of being optimist, divine. Think only about or see only the good. That is inauthenticity, escapism. That is where the flaw happens. Because I might talk a great thing, big talks we might keep on giving about a lot of things, but and I can pretend. I ignore my source. I ignore the intention. I don't want to look into it. I don't want to acknowledge it. So if I don't acknowledge it, do you think my actions will ever change? I'll continue with the same thing. That is where the seekers get stuck. Because if they don't see if that action from where it is coming, if they don't investigate the source, and they simply believe what I'm doing sadhana and keep on doing, you'll not get anywhere because you don't know what you're doing. Awareness is needed to study this authenticity. And if awareness come, I'm telling you, give up your sadhanas also, it will not matter. Sadhanas are only to discipline your mind because mind ego is very strong. So all these processes are used, but without authenticity, without awareness, even sadhanas are failures. Even Ravana did sadhana. Come on, yeah. He was one of the greatest tapasvi. He attained all the powers. But what happened in the end? So sadhana is no guarantee it will lead you to mukti. Sadhana can give you this, what Ravana got also. What is the difference then? Authenticity. Because Ravana will never change because he's not seeing that aspect of him, which is the core problem. He is not able to see. That is ignorance. Ram is able to see. Ram is able to see his inauthenticity, but Ravana himself is not able to see his inauthenticity. Can you see the difference? Because Ram saw his inauthenticity only, he had compassion for him. He saw his helplessness. That is why he sent his brother Lakshmana to touch his feet when he killed Ravana also. He brought down the giant, but Ram has no ego about it. Ram tried to even avoid so many times that he shouldn't kill Ravana. He sent warnings to him so many ways to prevent the war because he's seeing the helplessness. He knows he's a great sapatvi, he's a great sadhak. He has done great sadhana. He is respecting that. He's a Shiva Bhakta. Not Shiva Bhakta means not the worshipper and all that. Shiva Bhakta means one who's having that intention to connect to the source, God consciousness. He's seeing that. But he is also seeing his helplessness that Ravana is himself inauthentic. He is not able to see that. And he knows why he is not able to see that. He knows his karma is preventing him to see that. Because his karma is demanding his death. And the karma will catch that way. It will block Viveka. If Viveka is blocked, whatever you do, it's of no use. See, even he did all those things. In the end, what happened? Because he is destined for that. Ram can see that he's destined. That is why Ram went ahead with the war. Because he knows it's his destiny. He knows that the divine has incarnated through this being to kill that being. It's a part of the play of consciousness. He's not denying destiny there. He's playing the destiny well. But at the same time, he's aware of the flaws, of the good and bad. That is why he has that reverence. And that is why even Ram, even Ravana, while dying, is actually happy. At that moment, he realizes that he is liberated. These are all symbolic. When the ego dies, only you are liberated. Ravana is the ego. And when does it know? When it is dying. When the divinity has overpowered it, only it knows now it's helpless. All your stories you see, everything is the same. Different fashion it is. The Durga Shapsati is the same. Mahishasura struggles till the end. And in the end, what happens? Mahishasura is happy. Till then, he's fighting. But when the final blow comes, he bows and he thanks the Divine Mother. Thank you. Because you have done a favor, you have liberated me. These are all indications that in the end, light only will win. Authenticity only will win. The drama might prolong a little bit more if the ego is there, that's all. See, the whole Ramayana went so long. If Ravana would have realized that time only, would that whole episode have dragged so much? If Mahishasura would have known in the start only, would you be sitting and doing 10 days of all that? So long scripture, it wouldn't have happened only. शुरू होते ही खत्म हो जाता. But no, the more the ego stands, it wants to sustain. That is called sustenance. And the more you want to sustain, the more light will keep working on it all the time. Because there's a constant struggle between light and dark. Light is trying to return everything to light. Tiro bhava nature Shivka. Whatever is created, the moment it is created, the opposite is hanging. The moment you are born, death is on your head. Death is, it doesn't come later. The second you are born, from that second only your death is counted. Any moment from this second, it begins. So you can see the light is always following the dark. Light is always following ignorance. Ram is always following Ravana. Durga is always following Mahishasura. But that Mahishasura keeps running, playing around, Ravana keeps playing around, then that takes a long time. And that is what weaves itself into something called the play of consciousness. And that's where the play goes on. These are all symbolic to our ego only, how much we play hide and seek. We know we are going to die. The I has to die, but still we struggle, ain't it? Check it out. We are understanding right now what through all the paths, Ramana's teachings, Arunachala Tattva, that the ego has to die. Now we have come to know there is no other way. But till we come to Gyan Marga, will we ever know the ego has to die? No. In all the paths, you see the ego is there. The Mahishasura is there. Mahishasura with a spiritual throne. Some identity will be there. It doesn't want to lose that identity. It doesn't want to kill that and become identityless. In fact, they confer medals in spirituality. From today, you are so and so yogi. इसका दीप जलाए रखना. I am putting a new garb on you. Now you burn this flame and keep this throne very strongly. And those who are not even having the yogi title, they come there blank. They want to straighten out things and they put a new mukut there. Go, here I give you a new identity. That's why I say, Asman se gira, khajur mein atka. Fire to frying pan. That is where the journey is. How much ever, whatever mukuts you carry, and you keep on shouting, hail, gods or religions, or how much ever you shout, kitne bhi naare lagao, kitna bhi ghamand karo, kitne bhi titles, medals lagao, kitne bhi astra vastra badlo, whatever you do, however, kitna bhi alankar karo body ko, and call this spiritual, that spiritual, call yourself a Shaivite, call yourself a Shak, call yourself a Hindu, a Muslim, and call that even devout, a great divine devotee, और नाम दो उसको पॉलिश करके करके श्री लगाओ. You go on putting all these more titles on it. Glorify the thrones. One day you'll realize these all have to be put into fire. This is all that Mahishasura only, taking different forms. Durga Shapsati, what does it say? Mahishasura is taking multiple forms. He's not sitting in one. He's not as Mahishasura. Sometimes he's a buffalo, sometimes he's this, sometimes he's that. Changing forms. Sometimes he's an angry guy, demon, threatening and challenging the divine mother. And sometimes he's like begging for his life. Spare me. He's scared. Sometimes he's very courageous. Sometimes he's very scared. Sometimes he's become a saint, emotionally blackmailing the mother, telling you are going to kill me. You're greater. I'm your greatest devotee. This is the cunningness of the ego. Don't sit with these stories and be glorified and sing the nights and spend 10 days in all these things. You do it. But the symbolism is this. Mahishasura is not somewhere outside. Ma Durga, it's not happening objectively somewhere where you are sitting in Navaratras waiting for something to happen outside. It's the story about you only. We are only that Mahishasura. And Durga is the consciousness, the awareness that's rising in me. That awareness, once it rises, it doesn't spare this Mahishasura. Then, however cunning I become, however saintly I become, however evil I become, however nice, bad, change form, shape, ideas, awareness will not spare. Awareness is shining through it, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say here. Your darkness is Mahishasura. You have to stare at it, not escape, in the name of optimism. You have to stare at it, literally. You means who? Ma Durga. That's your awareness only is Durga. Aren't we learning here in Kashmir Shaivism very clearly? Bhairavi is what? Uninterrupted awareness. When your awareness is uninterrupted, it doesn't fall and it's stabilized. Bhairavi, you are active. Bhairavi Tattva is active in you. You are Bhairavi then. Then Bhairavi means what? It's not that you go and dance somewhere and show that God has come into you. That's not Bhairavi. That's another form of ego. Bhairavi, Jagrat Bhairavi means you are simply authentic and looking at every damn Mahishasura and all the Asuras in it. Everything. All the mini Asuras also, like Shumb, Nishumb, and all those. Many are there, all inside. Everything you're staring, and there's a war going on within you. One by one, you're lashing everything. And final, that guy will be there, Mahishasura. That is the final, last villain. Like in Hindi movies, you can see. They bash all the small gundas, and finally there is the villain. last in the end of the movie. And finally, the hero kills the villain. That's the end of the story. But directly does the hero go in one? He can go right. You see the films, the villain also appears in the start only, and everybody knows this villain and this is there. But villain cannot come directly in front. It plays dramas this way, and the hero is chasing it, trying to find out. This is the play of consciousness. It keeps on escaping itself, and then in the end, it has to die. But before that, all the mini goons are killed by the hero. That is all these other asuras which are there in us. I'm telling you guys, simply if you understand this, you don't need concepts, you don't need rituals, you don't need all these things. Simply you've got the point, because all these Durga Shapsati Renedo, Ramayana Renedo, Mahabharata Renedo, Shiv Mahapuran, whatever it is, these are all to simply give you this science of what is it in me. Everything is in me. Mahabharata is in me, Ramayana is in me. It's all here. And if you get this point, you don't need any of these stories. You don't need to sit glorifying all these rituals. Purpose is served. You have understood it. So those who don't understand it have to go through all this. That is why Shiva is telling very clearly in Vigyan Bhairav Tantras, these are all concepts, my dear, which I have given. Shiva tells Parvati, right? I have given these concepts for whom? Dull intellects, Bhranta Buddhi. They cannot understand my formlessness. Nirguna Nirakara, they cannot fathom it. Chodo, bhul jao. The poor thing, because they are Bhrant Buddhi. Buddhi is this blocked, dull intellect. So, Buddhi means your Viveka, your awareness. That is blocked. So, how can they see me, Nirguna Nirakara? What we are trying to express here all the time, pure awareness. Shiva is pure awareness. Beyond all the concepts. He's not your images. He's not all these things, mental concepts. So, when this is blocked, your Viveka is blocked, that grace has to now come into your mind and work. It is helpless because I blocked myself. So what is the mind zone? Then Ramayana outside, Mahabharata outside, Durga Shapsati outside, Shiv Mahapurana outside, all the glories outside. Then you do Navaratras, then you do Jagaran, then you do Vrata Upvasa, then you do Havana, then you do Puja Part. What are you worshipping? Concepts. Shiva is telling, I am not telling. These are all concepts I've given. So the one who has risen and come to the intellect, this part, whose consciousness has come here, she is sitting very close here. From the Mooladhara, her journey slowly has come. And she's sitting here very closely. So only she is having a Vartalap. She is having a communication with Shiva. At the feet of Shiva is Parvati. She is only asking now, how do I jump this? I want to come here. Because she tried. She came till here with her own efforts. That is we, the ego. We do this, that, this, that, this, that. And didn't I tell you, one zone will come. After that, you can't do anything. You can only come till here, I amness. After that, Shiva's Tivra Shaktipat, it pulls up. This cannot go there. That if it could have gone, she would have gone and merged, right? Why is she talking there? Why is she asking, give me Brahma Vidya so that I can come to you? By error, I left you and went down through the Srishti and this. I'm tired of it. Our story only. One day when we become tired only, we will go Tivra there. So when I'm sitting there in that, I want to know how to come there. And Shiva is giving the secret. There's only one way to come to me. There is no other way. That is Nischala. Stillness, listen carefully. Stillness is not the stillness that is achieved by meditation. That is Kevala stillness. Kevala Nischalta. There is no such word. I am inventing it. Kevala means which you have put effort. You put a meditation and then you become still. You do some practice and then you become still. This Shiva is not talking about that. That stillness. But that stillness is needed by effort to at least listen to Shiva. He has something else to share. So he's telling, first bring your stillness, Kevala stillness. You make yourself stable. That is the condition he's telling. I'll tell you all the secret, Brahma Vidya, but you have to become still. So he says, remove doubt and fear from your mind and remain calm and still. Then I'll give you the Brahma Vidya. That means we have to make our efforts to stay still, to come to that Nischal. After that, the real Nischalta, the real stillness, is the stillness that not comes by meditation but by surrender. Surrender does not have any efforts. Are there any methods to surrender? Check it out. Are there any practices to surrender? You cannot practice to surrender. Only by grace, when your intellect opens and you see what I am doing is not me that is doing, something else is doing. When you have a full blown awareness of this, through your jnana only, you will give up the doing, not by effort. That is a Brahma Vidya. In the Brahma Vidya is that. And that is what is explained in Devi Kalottara and Sarvagyanatra. Shiva says the final leap. That leap doesn't have effort. That leap is no effort. That is a leap. Not wanting to even leap. Not wanting liberation also. Till now she's wanting because she's a doer. Till here she's telling, I want to come. She's a doer. Shiva is giving the gyan and teaching her. No doership. Be. Just be. In being, there is no ichcha to go also. That's why I'm telling. Once you start coming closer to that point, you'll understand there is nothing called chasing liberation also. Who cares? The one who does not even care whether there is bondage or liberation is free. Ashtavakra Gita. The one who doesn't care for even liberation nor even bondage is free. अब क्या रह गया टेंशन ही नहीं उनको. Neither bondage bothers such a person, neither liberation can liberate such a person. So such a person is known to be liberated. That is Jivan Mukta. End of the story. It is not that you have to go and merge here and there. Jivan Mukta is that state. Yoga Vashishta teaches that. The aim of shifting into awareness is that only. So there is no moksha talks here. We are only understanding when we talk about moksha, mukti, we are understanding what is this thing all about. It is this freedom from any binding. Because this mind wants liberation or doesn't want bondage. Mind. The moment mind goes, see in your sleep, where is the liberation there? Where is the urge for liberation? Where is the worry or brooding over bondage? Nothing. So Brahma Gyan, Brahma Vidya, Brahma Gyan is the wisdom of the self. This is the wisdom of the self. What happens? When the mind nullifies, when the mind destroys, because the mind is a problem. Till it is there, it will keep on making effort. It will try do something or the other. That's the nature of the mind, chanchal. That is why Manonash. Ego has to be killed. So Atma Vichara is nothing but killing the Ravana, killing the Mahishasura in through your very sharp intellect. Durga only it is. It is pure Durga Shapsati if you see. Through your awareness, you are staring at that demon and it is doing this and that, this and that. And what you're doing is only staring. You're not even taking anywhere. That is a weapon. The stare. You see all the goddesses? You see all the gods? Have you seen their eyes? All the Ugra Devatas, have you seen? Look at the eyes of Kala Bhairava. Look at the eyes of Kali. Look at the eyes of Mahakaal. What does it mean? Full open, staring, uninterrupted, no sparing, ruthless. Not even a blink. Because in the blink also the ego can do something. It is simply staring. And that's Buddha's words, what we discussed yesterday. What is Buddha saying? When Mara comes to him, near the stage of self-realization, the ego comes with the daughters, like lust and desires and greed and all that. He doesn't fight. He doesn't oppose. He doesn't reject. He doesn't escape. He looks at it. And what does he say? He says, Mara, I see you. That's all. Seeing is awareness. It is not even telling, I'll destroy you. I'll run away from you. Run away means what? Close the eyes. I saw something, I close the eyes, running away. I pretend not to see it. Fight with it, getting involved. Eyes blinking. Eyes not blinking, full staring, fully aware. Neither doing this nor that. I see you. And that is the whole purpose what I'm trying to tell you. Whole practice should refine into just this awareness. You're simply aware. There's nothing else to do. You see your flaw that is rising from inside. You stare at it and you acknowledge, I see you. That's it. There is no practice after that. Should I remove it? Should I throw it? Because in seeing, it disappears. In staring, it becomes powerless. In acknowledging, it becomes powerless. If you don't acknowledge, if you don't see it, then is where the problem happens. If you go and fight it, it will magnify. You look at your anger coming in. When anger is coming, you jump to fight against it, it will magnify. You refuse to see it, you ignore it, it will submerge and come up in uglier ways. You look at the sexual energy, it comes, you try to fight it, it will magnify. You ignore it, it will come out in other uglier ways. Different compulsions and things like that. And you can see those who try to suppress their sexual energies in the name of spirituality, they become very cranky, irritated, frustrated all the time. Little things, they'll be irritated. That's a demonstration of what lust is doing inside when it is controlled. It's trapped inside. Or it will turn into some illness, mental havoc. Somebody is fighting that. So, this path of awareness is no fight, neither fighting about it, neither ignoring it. It's simply being aware of it. It's there. Accept it. In acceptance, in awareness, is transmutation. A strange phenomena starts happening there. That same thing starts converting into a higher force. See, this Kamasana, what we are talking about, sexual energy, it's not bad, it's not good, it's not. These all people have defined it. What are we doing right now here? We are all fully sexual here because this is that same energy which has risen up. And from there, it is giving a deep desire. Kama means desire. There's a deep desire that is growing. When this is not channeled properly, then it goes into the world. The same sexual energy becomes your desires of the world. I want this, I want that. It will be continuously running there. It is the same generation that's happening, but we discussed yesterday in depth. Incompletion. There is a emptiness. There is a gap there. So that emptiness is trying to be filled out. These desires are coming, but it's not staying here. It is not staying as presence here. It is moving out. And it is going and grabbing this thing and trying to bring it here. Going to eat this, going to see this, going to conquer this, different hobbies, passions. It is going, relationships. And everywhere it's not able to sustain. So one after the other, one after the other. This gap is still there. So what is that? Same sexual energy only. It running haywire. It's not getting peace. Why? Because that has been ignored. When you start acknowledging it, when you start becoming more and more present, which is what we are going to do in tomorrow's webinar, all what we are talking these 3 days, we will do it in practices. Okay. So we understand the whole thing. So if you become more aware of this presence and you start completion from within, females become aware of the masculine within them, males become aware of the feminine within them. If they are not aware of these things, they will hunt it out outside desperately, frantically. The more one starts getting completion inside, you will see the desires falling by itself. It is not control of desires. Why? What is happening now? There is no need for this energy to go out and create something because it is getting completion inside. Now that energy which is there, built up within, will start moving upward. By nature, it is. You light a flame doesn't go down. By nature, it is urdharita, urdhagati. The flame always is upward. Consciousness always travels upward. Ego travels downward. This is the war. What is war between these two? Simple words. One travels up and one travels down. That is why Earth, you can see gravity. It pulls everything down here only. And the opposite of this is upwardness. You leave, you levitate, gravitate and levitate. Gravitate is godly, levitate is evil. That's what we have made it that way. So Ravana is downward pull, Ram is the upward pull. That's all. This up and down only is what you have now conceptualized as Kundalini. This same awareness only which moves upward, you call it the Kundalini Shakti moving upward. The same awareness which moves downward, you call it the Kundalini moving downwards. According to the seven chakras. Seven chakras have different functionalities. Mooladhara is fully the gross, the stula, Prithvi Tattva, rigid, strong, adamant. That's all the nature. So if that nature is strong in me, that's simply that, the awareness is resting there in Mooladhara. That is why I'm so rigid, rigidity in life. But if I'm a flexible person, I'm like water. I'm not like stone. I'm like water. I'm flexible. I adapt. Whichever container I move into, I become that. The river flows without fighting a war. A stone boulder comes, it doesn't fight a war with it. It moves from the side. Humility. Flexibility has come. Rigidity has gone. So that simply means the awareness is now resting somewhere in the Swadhisthana. Power, passion, all here. Greed, envy is all in the solar plexus. Fire. Fire is purifying. It purifies. It is becoming more and more subtler. Muladhara is hard. Rock is hard. You can touch it, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can see it. All panchendriya full. You come to water, one element will drop in that. One will keep dropping. You can't smell water. So smell is gone. You come to fire, another two will drop. You can't smell it, you can't taste it. That means my awareness is there. Kundalini Shakti. You call it Kundalini Shakti. I'm just simply calling it awareness. Where awareness is, that is where your state is. Higher you come, air, your heart chakra. In air, see, one more tattva is gone. What? You can't see it. One more tattva is dropped. You can hear it, you can feel it. That's all. Two only is remaining there. You come to the Vishuddhi, ether, sky. You can only feel it, experience it. The rest all is gone. You can't see it, you can't hear it, you can't taste it, you can't smell it, you can't touch it. Ether, wind at least you can touch. See, that's how these are all refining of our qualities only. How much quality we are reducing. through whatever tapas or practice, whatever, these things impact us in this manner. And as this is only called as purification, these attributes keep changing in us, gunas starts dropping in us. Please understand, the path here we are talking is about shedding, not taking in more. You look at all the things that we are activity, we are only taking more information, taking more practices. It is about giving up, building up more name. I told no, this yogi, that yogi, identity. I have got this lineage now. ये सब extra attack आ गया है. इससे पहले better you were pathless was better. You come into the path and you have new stuffs to handle. It is not addition, it is subtraction. Then something wrong is happening. It's a triangular journey upward. Meru is what? Like this, right? But if I look at people around, Meru आपका उल्टा है, like this. You are going on gathering only more things. Previously, the seeker is a humble seeker, just a devotee. I don't know what. I want to meditate. Very purified person. Now, with all these concepts, you should see I am level 20, I am level 4, I am doing this, I am a this sadhak, I am a, your Meru is going ulta. Previously, you were nothing. That was better. Now, new ideas have come in, new jnana, new concepts. Now, people talk about chakras and Kundalini and heavens and lokas and siddhis and siddhas and oh my god, complicated. So it's a triangular journey. Meru means it sheds, everything sheds. And I'm telling you, if you authentically work on this path, it will shed you. Things you will lose. You will lose. Those who are not ready to lose are not authentic seekers. They are Meru's ulta. They are only trying to gain. Then they are thinking, they are hallucinating, they are on the path. They are not on the path, they are on the forest road. Royal road reduces things. You start losing your relatives, you start losing your friends, you start losing your family bondages, attachments. You losing your possessions that you are tied up with. Losing means not physically. Physically also maybe, but mentally at least it will go. You might be amongst all these things, but you'll have no interest. It will start dropping. Then you are on the right path because you're shedding, load shedding. All the small villains have to die, asuras. In the last, only one will remain. That is the I amness. That I am something. That also will go. If so much has gone, that also will go. But that is how we move on the path. That is the authentic path that I'm stressing so much about. This has to be known. Otherwise, the awakening phase, people will remain there and one will think, I've reached somewhere, or they will remain confused. They will know some kind of stuckness. Stuckness is this only. How much ever they are stuck. People come to me, they talk great deal about their stuckness, but simple remedies you tell, they'll run. Means they only don't want to remove their stuckness. They want me to give them ideas, something to keep them more activated in the whole process. Something for them to grasp, some new technologies, some new beliefs. Now I'm sitting here, I call this a pathless path. You can see under the logo of shifting into awareness, it's clear pathless path. No path, nothing. But people from different paths come and they come and ask me about the path. I'm telling you, your paths have to go. They will tell me, you reinforce something about my path. I have not known my own path. I said, it's good if you don't know. Why do you want to know and then be overburdened with knowing all that? Knowing is a burden, knowledge is a burden. No, I want to know because the completeness will come in that. Then I'm not the person. I cannot give you paths. I cannot give you any talks about any paths because I'm not interested in any path. However, you glorify it. That's your system. That is your conditioning, your beliefs, your scare, your insecurity that you are carrying around. People come to pull me into that. You tell this. I'm not going to tell that because there is nothing to tell. Look from experience at least. I'm telling because until you give up all these things, these won't open. I'm telling you, till I gave up all those things, this did not open. This door did not open. This will not open. The higher things will not happen. And that's exactly and precisely what Shiva is telling Shakti. Until you give your concepts, you cannot get me. You getting it? Your concepts are keeping you there. That is the Brahma Vidya he is giving. Before the Brahma Vidya, he is giving that knowledge. Devi Kalotra is a very important document for all seekers who are moving towards that beyond. If you really want Shiva, study Devi Kalotra. You can study it through books, or even if you have courses, shiftingintoawareness.com/courses. There is Devi Kalotra there. Hindi and English both. Understand it. These are all preparations Shiva is giving. Final Upadesha. But nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Apart from that, there is nothing. You sit with your mind. There is intellect and above. Shiva is preparing, looking at Parvati's intellect, sharp intellect. She's able to grasp. Because she's able to grasp, he's telling, I'll give you the Brahma Gyan. Stay still. That's all. But in the Brahma Gyan, he's telling even your intellect will not work here now. This is a zone where even the intellect has to be good. That's the koshas, right? Manomaya kosha, Jnanamaya kosha. So if you want to go into the Anandamaya kosha, you have to give up even the Jnanamaya kosha. All the Gyan is gone for a toss. And that bliss body is there. But still the I amness is there. So that is called the Sukshma ego. Many people don't like that. Because Anandamaya kosha is Samadhi. All kind of samadhis, all kind of sleep, what you experience, you are experiencing in Anandamaya kosha. Any kind of blissful state, if you are simply sitting and looking at the nature, and if you simply feel very happy and blissful, you are in your Anandamaya kosha. Deep meditation, you are there, Anandamaya kosha. Deep sleep, you are in Anandamaya kosha. But the I is there, subtle ego is still there. That has to die. And that is Parvati. That is that blissful Parvati who's sitting here. So the I amness is the last step. We did that webinar, Nisardat Maharaj's, very powerful. That was on that state. You float there only, and that's all you can do. Come to the I amness and be there. So tomorrow's webinar, we are discussing to come to that point and be there. But at the same time, tomorrow's webinar will carry how to live the worldly life also, because we are not ignoring. As I told you, we are not escaping anything. There is no escape here. We don't say that, oh, this is the higher, let us leave this. No leaving. You are seeing. This also you see. I see you. I'm a father. I'm seeing I'm a father. I'm a child. I'm a student. I'm seeing that. I'm a professional. I'm seeing I'm a professional. I don't quit my profession. Quitting means you have not got the whole thing now. Nothing about quitting. Where I am, I'm simply seeing. I'm aware. In that awareness, I carry my karma. That's what the whole thing is about. What is offered to me, what life is offering to me, whatever I am getting at this point, I'm simply aware. I see through that. I don't reject it. I don't grasp it. So that's what we are trying to understand through the webinar tomorrow. It's all about stabilizing yourself. So the bold step that we are talking about first is being yourself. First bold step is authenticity. And I'm telling you briefly, I'm telling you about this, the challenges that will come. Why it is a bold step? It is very easy to talk about authenticity. You cannot, it's not easy to practice it, because authenticity means you are what you are. And whenever you try to become you are what you are, all the forces will work against you. Mark this. And that forces can be in you and outside you. And it will begin with your near and dear ones. Mark my words. That is why I said it's a bold step. Bold step in not mocking anybody, not knocking down anybody, not fighting with anybody. It's not that. You just being yourself and see the challenges, how it will start. That is why I say it's a bold step. Why bold? Because you have to stay with that. That is your test. How authentic you can become. Not compromising your state. Outside, I'm not telling what you do, what you don't do. How you deal with people, places, and things, I'm not telling. Your non compromise with refusing to leave this authentic state. Come what may, and that will be a struggle. but it is worthwhile, because that by that you prove, come what may, I'm going to abide by my truth, even if I lose everything, including my body. If that kind of a intensity is coming, then no one can stop you. That only the Shastras are calling it mumukshatva, is needed for self realization. हल्का पुल्का नहीं चलता. That intensity, and it's not a very big deal, it's just staying true to yourself. Now you'll say, staying true to myself, that's a good thing. Why should I have problems? You check it out. Because this civilization is not ready for all these things. Not everybody is evolved to this level. Don't underestimate this evolution where we have reached, you are reached in understanding this. It's a very, very evolved state. Not everybody can understand this evolved state. There will be fight, there will be rejection. And I'm telling you, you need not even fight. You simply sit in your authenticity and brim there. Your vibes are high, your frequency is high, your presence is there. You're not bothering anybody in this world. You're simply your own life. Still, people will start being affected around you. You'll see this everywhere, wherever you go. You're not even opening your mouth. You might be the quietest person. Still, why? Because your light threatens the darkness around. This can be perceived consciously, not unconsciously. People subconsciously catch the light, the presence, and somehow you will see this very clearly. Sometimes, for example, in a room you're sitting, for no reason, people will simply get up and move out. You didn't even say anything. People might even not know you. Suddenly, there will be a kind of uncomfortableness that might turn into even a quarrel, even an unwanted issue, something. You'll see this very frequently happening. Many of you are seeing also. And it begins where you are in your surrounding. Why I'm telling you this? Simply to tell you it's okay. It's very normal. Because many people get scared. What is the hell is this? When I'm becoming so authentic and very nice and divine, why the hell God is giving me all the problems? He is not giving you problems. Mark my words, he is removing the problems indirectly. Wait for it. If you stay in your authenticity, these problems will vanish. But the problem is, you are the problem. You don't want it to vanish. क्यों? तुम्हारा triangle उल्टा है. It's not like this where you want to shed anything. So you want to gather everything. ये नहीं है तो एटलीस्ट ऐसा है, सिलिंड्रिकल, पैरेलल. गति ही नहीं इसको, ना आगा ना पीछा. It is like this only, parallel. The pillar of light, it will remain forever that only. So simultaneously, when your this is opening, you have to see what is false. Because until you see what is false, your moha will not go. Moha goes only when you see the false as false. You see all the things the way it is, how fluctuating things are, how temporary things are, how it comes and goes, how selfish this entire scenario is all about. Everything is thinking about themselves, and the whole world is glorified itself into so many things. Everything is only minding their own business. All what when you see this hoaxness, glamored and glittered in the name of love and attention and care, and this that is saying you are awake through the Maya. You can see. And what you're seeing here, Maya, you're not telling, I'll fight you, Maya, or I'll ignore you, Maya. You're simply saying, I see you, Maya. I see through all this hoaxness. That's what I'm saying. Even if you see it and don't utter a word, also, there will be frictions. This you can, that is why I said it's a bold move. And things will be removed from your existence. as you progress. You cannot go with everything. It might sound scary for you. That's because of the ego and attachment. The ego is very attached to falseness. But as you start seeing the truth, eventually by growth, automatically the interest will be lost in these things. Automatic. And that's grace. Because anything you hold on to, you're not going to evolve. That is what Shiva is telling. Other than me, if any other, even one thought comes into your head, you cannot have me. Dekho, itna bada, telling Parvati. That is moksha, last stage. You have to be a Nandi. Only undivided attention to Shiva. Means what? You are only staring at the blankness there. Means you are abiding in the self. Atma Vichara you're doing. Nothing else other than that. Those are the final stages. Chalo. But I'm telling you, this is how the yatra goes. This is how intense it becomes when it goes till that end. From here, you might not understand because right now we are caught up with a lot of things. The untruth is very like familiar in our heads. But slowly as we evolve, it will go. Automatically it will go. And that is called the inner transformation. From inside, the transformation happens. Freedom starts coming. Naturally, it happens as a byproduct of the grace and evolution that's happening. So, being yourself is the biggest bold step you'll be taking. That being yourself is being authentic, being truthful to yourself and abiding by it, standing by it, come what may. Outside, there will be big havoc, this, that. I've been through all this. I know it is a big volcanic ride, but everything will eventually settle down because grace is protecting you. The grace only is making you go through this. It is not your effort also. When the time comes, everything has to be left. And that grace only is making. And why do you think you are sitting and discussing and listening to these things also? If it is not in your blueprint, if it is not in your evolution, these things also will not reach us. We will not be even doing this activity. So when something is active, we are simply seeing this. I'm aware. I'm aware of this grace that's working. You're simply aware. Positive ho, negative ho, this, whatever, you're simply aware. I see everything. That's where the freedom starts coming. So being yourself is one thing. The other is steadying yourself in the changes that comes. That's perseverance. Keep going. Come what may. You might fall. You might be disappointed. 1 or 2 days or 1 month or 2 months old. People go that way also. Sometimes for few weeks or months also they are disappointed. They are hardened. This is all the breaking and crumbling of the ego. There will be episodes of crying, weeping, loss, grief, this, that, all dramas will be there. But eventually you'll see after that whole drama coming, you will come back to normal. You will come back to peaceful state again. Suddenly there will be a different peace, and that peace you'll enjoy. Then you will understand, oh my God, there is so much peace here. And why was I even creeping about it? So at that time we will not know. But once we move past that incident or whatever in life, which grace only is taking care of, you'll understand. So steadiness which is there, studying yourself. Swadhyaya, keep studying. The whole attention of the practice is on keenly on myself. That's all. I am exploring myself in depth. That's it. That's my sadhana. I don't need any yantra pantra and all that. Why do I need all these things? Because all these methods and tools take you outside. This is completely inside. You're simply self aware. That we will do tomorrow and we'll experience. What does that mean? We have learned about divine presence, but that's with the body. Tomorrow I'll teach you a little more deeper of how sustaining that throughout the day will become more easier. Tomorrow we'll talk about some divine touches inside my being and experiencing those divine touches. It is a kind of a kriya that happens inside. If you can relish that and connect with that, it's a kind of a massage that happens even within your body. There's a different thrill in that. A different generation of energy in that. A different release of blockages happens in the energy, in the physical body, energy bodies. And if that is maintained, you'll see suddenly energy flow happening in your body. It's akin to the kriyas that people do, the subtle kriyas. There are many types of kriyas. The physical kriyas are there, pranic kriyas are there, subtle kriyas are there, but they are all methods in a certain way. Tomorrow I'll try to share some subtle practice also. I have not learned it from anywhere. It came into me. I don't think also these are there in anywhere, books or things like that. But it's something that I experience and I do on and often. Very natural kind of a process. But I see whenever you do that, energy starts flowing like anything. You become so light, feel like a feather. That's where your energy remains so high. Because if the channels are open, it's simply flowing through you. Activities and all, you don't get tired. So why am I talking about that? Because that is needed to live and navigate through this world. Not escaping the world. You use that, but at the same time, as I said, spiritual evolution, no compromise. World is there, world responsibilities are there, nobody's running, nothing, everything you're handling, whatever responsibility, so-called responsibilities, but you know the temporariness of that responsibility, and that gives you a different thrill. It's not forever. Those who do not know this, those who do not are not aware of this temporariness of it, are the people who are bored because they'll be sitting in a certain bracket, life, career, situation, relationship, or familial bonds, or this and that, and they'll say, till when? This is so boring. Because they think this is forever. Those who know it is not forever, it's only little lasting, will simply try to enjoy it while it lasts. A different approach. That happens only through, again, awareness. So, whenever you are studying yourself and being authentic, many falseness will come. Authentic itself means the readiness and willingness to give up that which is false. Not physically, I'm saying, internally. You see it, and the willingness to be constantly vigilant and the readiness, because I see people are not ready. They see it, they avoid it. ये नौटंकी चलते रहता है. That is not seeker zone. Those are escapists and they are inauthentic. So there will be no growth. Authentic means you see it, you act on it. It is internally. And when you evolve, when you grow, you become more silent. You become more calmer. You become more non-reactive. So the world will now challenge you on that because the world has conformity with you. World knows you in a certain way. World likes you for what? Because you are in a behaving pattern. You are catering to the world's needs in a certain way. Now, when you are not in a certain way, the world will try to force you to come back to that way. This is sure shot going to happen. Whatever that world means, outside world, your office, business, family, friends, society, communities, government, whatever you say, it all seeks a certain conformity. That is why I'm saying when you're standing alone, you're standing alone. You're not in the herd. Herd mentality is different. You can easily be spotted as not in the herd. That can be little challenging if you don't believe in the grace in you. That is why I'm teaching this awareness thing. You stick on to that grace. That grace is a protector that will protect you, that will guide you, that will take care of you. Until you know it will do it for you. Then there is all the practices we are learning, the webinars and things like that. All those practices you do, you'll start getting confidence. Then you'll stick by that. Whatever glitches are coming, you'll stay by that. Whatever speed breakers are coming, you'll come by that. But you'll stay authentic until the world has no other option but to accept you the way you are. See, what you give out, you'll receive. You start accepting the world it is. Instead of saying these people are like this, they are irritating. Understand the world is ignorant. That's it. That's the way they are supposed to be. That's their karmic pattern. That's what their lessons are. Leave them alone. Accept them the way they are. The more you accept them the way they are, you become calmer, non reactive. You mind your own business. So now you have given what? Acceptance. Now what will come back to you? Acceptance. They will be forced to accept you sooner or later. This is the way. इसका कुछ नहीं होने वाला. Useless guy. This is. And once the world knows this being cannot be changed, they will leave you alone. Till there is a chance where they see there is a possibility that can be changed, they will also be persistent in their sadhana. That is their sadhana to get you to what they are. Your sadhana is not to get them to what you are. Your sadhana is to accept everything the way it is. That's it. So, tomorrow's webinar, we will concentrate on all these things. So, it will even have the vibration of your manifestation, because manifestation is again the same thing. It is a desire in you, you see it, you're aware of it, you don't reject it. So, there is no question of rejecting anything. You simply allow it to happen. And I'm telling you, the secret is wherever you are, this awareness which is developing goes, it will manifest, it will magnify. Previously, what it is scattered energy. It's all spread out, right? 100 different direction, because you are not even knowing it is incomplete. You are split everywhere. Now, with this limited energy, you try to manifest, it will not happen. But when the whole thing is here present, you're not too much outside. It's more here. Wherever you put this energy, this awareness, that simply magnifies. It becomes faster, magnific the manifestation. So that we are not talking about generating new desires. You are simply what is available, what's coming to you. You are aware of it. You are simply giving it attention. You are looking at that desire with love, with respect. So whatever, whether it manifests, doesn't manifest, there is no conditions attached to it. Doesn't mean all your desires are going to just manifest. It might be some of your past thing that is just coming to pass by. So it comes, you are observing it. It doesn't happen, you are fine with it. Just with raखे उसकी रहिए. हर हाल में खुश. Don't care. You're neutral. आया तो भी ठीक, नहीं आया तो भी. See, that is the state of Ravana's teachings. What comes, comes. What goes, goes. You are blissful in everything. And that will only come when your presence is completely here. If your presence is absent here, you will chase things. You will definitely chase things. So the science I'm telling you, why the compulsion of chasing is because the presence is not here. And tomorrow we'll practice how to bring that presence here and to sustain it so that it remains. You'll also understand the power of prayers, because there will be challenges. This coming. Sometimes it might be this way, that way. I'm not talking about the 21 days. Huh? I'm talking about the journey ahead. 21 days, you are simply trying to stabilize the whole practice. Bring it in your being, into your cells, into your DNA. So for that, we are doing it regularly for the next 21 days. We will be doing every night, half an hour before sleeping, we will purify ourselves. So that will help you remove the clutter again and again. That's why I'm getting involved in it. Not recording, because recordings will not do. So if there is a session, 30 minutes, not more than that. I will reduce these satsangs. Or maybe not keep it also much. Because let us do something productive. ये बातें करते रहे कि क्या फायदा मिलेगा? All the time, my mental entertainment है. So let's do some work. That's the reason I'm telling. And so you have time, and yeah, tomorrow is Sunday. Those who have not registered and want to register at least 1 hour before the event, not in the last moment. And in case you're not available, like some of you said, in time zones and all that, you can take a recording. But now don't go into that zone like 21 days are there, so I can enter. No, the whole process, the link will be there only till Monday midnight. After Monday midnight, there is no registrations. So let us not think, oh, 21 days it is there, I can. No. Because where is 21 days for you to practice then? Practice also has to come, right? So maximum till Monday evening it will be there. In case you miss it also, the link will be there. After that, it will not be there. And these have time zones, very strict. Do not ask for extension. Like 1 week and all, what we are giving is there. It's there on the cloud, limited space. I don't want to extend that space because that habit is dirty. So we cannot cater to people's need. You have to check your priorities and work out to that. I know sometimes it can be too high because a lot of programs and things go on simultaneously. But trust me, it is not my plan. I have no intention because I don't take so continuous. Last Sunday, we did something deep. I wouldn't have taken this until it is asking for it. So if it is asking also next week and all, what we are not doing anything there. Otherwise, one week gap and all is there. So that only we are doing here, and 21 days we are putting it in this. So it should not be like a load. For some, it might be there. It should also not be a financial load. I just want to ensure those who are unable genuinely, you feel, oh, last Sunday only I did, and these are very meager charges. They're not very high also. But still, that also, if you feel, just write to me. But I'm aware of who's capable, who's not capable. I am not interested in stories. If I know it genuinely, I just want to encourage the people. It's not about money. You want, you're genuinely interested. It's from you. Huh? I am not going to come into your home and tell you better do it. I will never interfere into anybody's free will. You have interest, you approach. I will never ask anybody to do it or not do it. So those who are coming here, it's automatic. Okay. So 12 o'clock will meet tomorrow. 12 to 5 will be the webinar. And I think I have answered everything what I wanted to clear all these 3 days. It has been fully clear. Now we just move to the practices with little explanation. Okay. So thank you for being here. These sessions have been a little powerful. I know it's very, very deep. And I appreciate all your presence because all your presence only makes this satsang possible. And it makes me also drive into this satsang. So take care then. Until next time, let's end with a short prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudayachate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we all be blessed. May we all evolve. May we all be free. Arunachala Shiva. Stay blessed. Bye.